What's up, THS? I'm Mrs. Smith from the library. Our theme this week is Latinx authors, and these are my top three. We are in the middle of Hispanic Heritage Month that began on September 15th. And so our theme this week is celebrating authors of Hispanic heritage. And the first one I'm featuring today is a Mexican-American poet. She's undefeated on Twitter. Her name is Erika Sanchez, and her book is I Am Not Your Perfect Mexican Daughter. So if you didn't already figure it out from the title of the book, Julia Reyes is not meeting her parents' expectations. And you know what? I think she's okay with that because her older sister is kind of holding down that department for the Reyes family. Olga is checking all the boxes. She is polite and respectful. She's willing to stay home after high school and live under her parents' supervision while she takes classes at the community college. She appears to fall in line with the family's religious beliefs, but Julia is just on some other stuff, which is not to say that she's wilding out, but she just has her own goals and expectations of her life, and she's willing to let Olga be the golden child while Julia just kind of does her own thing. But Olga dies unexpectedly in a car accident, and now this arrangement is no longer sustainable for the Reyes family. Julia has to deal with her own guilt and grief like any of us would if we lost a sibling. And her parents, particularly her mother, acts out her grief on Julia by ramping up her hypercritical attitude and just constantly reminding her of all the ways where she's not meeting the bar that Olga set. I don't want to give away many more details for this one, except for to say that there's a pretty good sized plot twist waiting for you in here. It's highly relatable content, whether or not you are perfect or Mexican or a daughter. If you happen to be one of my bilingual bookworms, you should know that I have this book available in both Spanish and English, so you've got some options when you are filling out your book request form. So one of the highlights of my shelter at home summer watching everything on Netflix was The Last Dance. That's a documentary about Michael Jordan's career, his wins with the Bulls. And if you watch that like I did, perhaps you would like to try book number 2, which is Basketball and Other Things by Shea Serrano. So if novels aren't your thing, this book is great because each chapter can stand on its own. You don't necessarily have to remember or even have read the chapter before it to be able to enjoy what you're reading. So what I wanted to do was just tell you the titles of some of my favorite chapters in here. Chapter 3, Who's the Greatest Dunker in NBA History? Chapter 9 is Which Dunks Are in the Disrespectful Dunk Hall of Fame Part 1. And Chapter 10 is Which Dunks Are in the Disrespectful Dunk Hall of Fame Part 2. Chapter 32 is the best chapter. It's called If You Could Dunk on Any One Person, Who Would It Be? I have only one critique of this near-perfect book, and it's that the Chris Paul to Blake Griffin alley-oop did not get its own chapter. But I'm not going to stay mad about that because, seriously, Chapter 32 is worth the whole book. This book is also a double whammy for our theme because it is illustrated by Arturo Torres, and together he and Shea Serrano became the first Mexican-Americans to have 3 New York Times bestsellers, and Basketball and Other Things is one of them. Holding down the number 1 spot is Elizabeth Acevedo. She's an author you're going to hear me talk about a lot this year. She is a Afro-Dominican rapper turned spoken word performer, turned English and sociology teacher, turned YA novelist. And the YA novel I want to talk to you about today features a remarkable 17-year-old girl named Imani Sanchez. And the book is called With the Fire on High. So, a couple things that you should know about Imani Sanchez. As suggested by the cover of the book, she's kind of her highest self when she is in the kitchen. She invents and prepares recipes, kind of it's like a form of self care. She's really good at it, and so she enrolls in the culinary arts track at her magnet school so that she can add some professionalism. Some training to her kind of instinctual freestyle cooking technique. She lives in Philadelphia with her abuela. Her dad lives in Puerto Rico and he kind of comes in and out of her life at his convenience. She also has a 2-year-old daughter named Emma, and she shares parenting responsibilities of Emma with her ex. And so this has kind of caused Imani to evolve into this practical, no nonsense version of herself. She is trying to finish school on time and also meet her obligations with her daughter and her grandma. She doesn't date. She keeps a job after school. She just doesn't really have time for like regular teenage stuff. Once Imani starts school, she figures out that in order to complete her culinary arts training, she is going to have to do a study abroad program in Spain where she shadows a chef for 2 weeks. And that is cool if you are a regular teenager, but Imani is not. If by some miracle she's able to raise the couple $1,000s that she will need to finance the trip, she's also going to have to give up her job at the burger joint, and she is going to have to find somebody to take care of her baby, essentially for 2 weeks while she's gone. Also, there's this cute boy in her culinary arts classes who's trying to talk to her, and she definitely does not have time for that. Imani is going to have to make some very tough decisions about which of her dreams she can afford to follow and still do right by her family. You're going to love this book. You're going to fall in love with Imani. I hope you try some of the recipes in there. And I know that we are not supposed to judge books by their covers, but let me just show you this one again. So beautiful. Anyway, it's called With the Fire on High. It's by Elizabeth Acevedo, and it is the final book in our theme this week of Latino authors. Hey, if you saw something you liked this week, don't forget to hit me up using the link in your email. You can also tell me if there's another book that you'd like to read, and I will make sure that it gets to your homeroom if we have it. Thank you for being patient with your book requests. I want to let you know that you can be on multiple waiting lists at a time. So if you see something you like, go ahead and request it. Request any and every book that you're interested in, and I will get you the first available copy ASAP. And you can keep your place in line for those books that might have longer waiting lists. The link I said is in your email. My email and Twitter and Insta handles are on the screen. So when you're finished watching this video, at me and let me know who would be on the receiving end of your if you could dunk any one person fantasy. And I will also answer your book and library related questions and comments as well, because that's my job. All right, have a good day, guys. Thanks for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye.